everyone, great to see you back on the Windsor family here. We bring you breaking news, fascinating stories, and little-known mysteries of the royal family. Make sure to like this video and subscribe so you won't miss any updates. Across the grand tapestry of European monarchies, the act of naming a royal heir has never been a simple personal choice. A royal name is not merely an identifier, it is a declaration of lineage, of politics, of hope for a dynasty's future. Each name carries echoes of glory and caution, binding the present to centuries of history. In Britain, this tradition endures with near-sacred gravity. When a new prince is born, the nation waits not just to see his face, but to hear his name, for it whispers hints of the monarch he might one day become. George conjures memories of stability and stoicism. William recalls the spirit of conquest and strength, but Charles remains a name steeped in contradictions, one king executed amid civil war, another remembered for scandal and restlessness. Yet the royal family has never shied from reviving it, as if to assert that the past cannot forever dictate the present. The English monarchy, however, has long known the peril of names, none more infamous than Edward. The story begins with a tragedy in the Tower of London. Edward V was barely 12 when he ascended the throne after the death of his father, Edward IV. But real power fell into the hands of his uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester. Soon, the young king and his brother, Richard of York, were confined within the tower and vanished without trace. Historians believe they were murdered, their fate forever entwined with one of Britain's most chilling mysteries, the princes in the tower. Thus, the name Edward, once noble, became tainted by loss and betrayal. Centuries later, it resurfaced with Edward VII, son of Queen Victoria, whose reign was shadowed by extravagance and scandal. Known as the Playboy Prince before his coronation, he was infamous for his parties, mistresses, and disregard for convention. His mother lamented bitterly that Bertie will ruin the House of Windsor. When he finally inherited the crown at 59, he ruled for only 9 years before succumbing to pneumonia. Though his era, the Edwardian age, glimmered briefly with prosperity and elegance, it ended as swiftly as it began, another reminder of the brevity that haunted his name. But it was Edward VIII who sealed the superstition into legend. Upon the death of George V, he became king in 1936 and relinquished the throne less than a year later for love. His passion for Wallis Simpson, an American divorcee, ignited a constitutional crisis that shook the empire. The government, the church, and the people refused to accept her as queen. Cornered between duty and desire, he made his fateful choice. On December 11, 1936, his voice trembled across the airwaves as he declared, "I have found it impossible to carry the heavy burden of responsibility without the woman I love." The words stunned the world. Edward abdicated, becoming the Duke of Windsor, condemned to exile and estrangement, living out his days in France, forever barred from official life. His love story became legend, but so did the curse. Since then, no British monarch has dared name an heir Edward. Charles and William both retain the name only as a middle title, a cautious nod to history's warning. For within the gilded walls of monarchy, even a name can carry the weight of fate, and sometimes, a whisper from the past is powerful enough to shape the destiny of kings yet to come.